And we're here with the final round. We have Hamza Ebrahim against Thomas van Heerden.
We had a little bit of a mistake. It was Thomas that was paid down
to Imad.
so he was 3-0 already. This is going to be a fun one, I think. Well, hopefully.
It's going to be a race. There's no other way around it. Mono red against Sultai Constrictor.
Hamza, having been playing this deck for months and months and months, pretty good at it.
Since before Nationals last year.
So I think it's going to be a good match. Both players know exactly what they're doing, and
players do look about ready to start.
We'll have a good fight on our hands.
Hamza's hand appeared to have 2 mountains and spells. Thomas's hand does have Constrictor on turn 1. Well, turn 2. In his hand he has Constrictor. And alongside a Blossoming Defense. He may mull that though, so I'm not sure if I saw a green-black land. And Hamza won the title, Fanatical Firebrand.
In for 1. No, that's Hamza's life total.
Sorry. The other way.
This is not how aggro works, man.
I mean, it could be.
Oh.
In for 3.
3 more. This is rough.
And basically, if you watch the first match of today's event, this is Brian's deck plus extra cards.
And there's a ballista. That seems unreasonable.
I mean, it's going to eat
the shock.
A couple of damage?
Yeah. Well, it's going to block the 1-1, ping the 2-1.
So yeah, it basically eats 3 damage. Healing Soul for 2 mana.
Hamza still has that shock in hand.
He's also missing a land drop. So 2 lands and only spells is what he kept. This is going to be a snake plus a blossoming defense. It's gonna. I'm more than likely. Okay, no. I was wondering if Hamza was going to send shock at his opponent's face there.
I think he might have actually could have done it just as well.
So here's the problem with. Okay, he's gonna shock it. Is that going to happen? You know, blossoming defense in response, nothing. Sure. So 2 for 1, and. Yeah, seems bad.
Yeah,
especially since now there's going to be a Hydra.
2 for 1 normally goes in the other direction. That is going to be a massive Hydra very soon.
And
has 2 activations.
So Hamza it's not looking too good for Hamza here.
I think the tide's just turned. I think this match is going to be over in a couple of turns.
Both missing the land drop and 2 for 1ing himself. Bit of a problem. This PNLR probably not going to do much against Bristling Hydra with potentially 4 counters on it. It will eat a couple of turns. If Thomas does top deck Hidana's Climb, I think it's
he's got Hidana's Climb in his hand already. I think he just goes for it. Can he cast it though? No, he can. Oh yes, he can.
He can. He has Aethab.
Okay, I think.
But he's going to go Verdurous instead, as one does when he's clearly going to be winning this game.
That is impressive. 10 in. Chump, take 4. I think the reason for that is that if he gets the Geralt out now and he can do that down the slide next turn, he just goes lethal in the air.
Yep.
If he gets another land, of course. He
needs an untapped land specifically.
One more untapped land and he just kills him.
It also has to be a land that can produce blue. So Aethab, exactly. Hidana's Climb requires blue and green to activate.
Sure. He's got a Vraska's Contempt in hand. I don't think he really needs that.
At the same time, he can just use it on whatever creature's blocking Verdurous Geralt to push through full retail damage.
Full damage, yeah. That is not good.
And he top takes a tapped land that doesn't produce blue. What he can do here is sack the Ashapo Aces to give Verdurous Geralt +3/+3 and then attack with all his creatures. Meaning his opponent is going to take probably 10 from Verdurous, putting his opponent to 4. Yeah, we are going to see a Dana's climb.
And
Yeah, and I'm just gonna
I'm
see.
just like, I don't want to deal with this anymore.
Too much nonsense.
Okay, well, let's see how this changes. Oof.
Hamza
What?
probably not prepared for this particular matchup.
Okay, so the first things I can see is that Thomas can cut one Ruska's Contempt.
I don't think you do though. I
I
think Vasquez Contempt's pretty good in the post-board games of this matchup.
I mean, look, it's there to deal with the 4 Hazoret and the Chandra, so I do
and
understand.
Rekindling Phoenix.
And of course the Rekindling. Okay, so maybe you don't. I'm just trying to think how he gets the 3 fatal pushes in, because that's literally all he needs, and maybe the cartouches.
So a lot of the time, the mistake I made while playing Green Black before was thinking Fatal Push is very good against Mono Red when it actually isn't. Because a lot of the time they side out a number of their 1-drops in the matchup because they aren't trying to be super fast against you, they're just trying to go over the top. Cards Hamza is more than likely going to bring in Glory
Okay.
Bringer, Chandra Torch of Defiance, Dire Fleet, Daredevil. You also don't want to give Fatal Push to your opponent's deck.
Sure. Well, it looked like Thomas put in 3 fatal push and 3 cartouche.
Cartouche is the definite bring in
Yeah.
here.
I think that's what he went for, and he did do 6
I
cards.
actually find that negate, while playing blue-black control at least, / mid-range, the negates are actually very good against the mono red deck because they side in a lot of non-creature spells. And a lot of the time they use lightning strikes to your face as a way to kill you.
And
And Hamza is almost certainly siding out all the cards he just showed there, which was a bunch of 1-drops, as far as I could see. Literally all the 1-drops and some number of Uncrop Crasher. The only 1-drop he kept. Oh, actually, he's not even playing the Soulscar Mages. So yeah, literally every single 1-drop came out.
his Harvesters are in. Chandra's in.
Glorbringer's
in.
I think, yeah, and Dire Fleet Daredevil in because his opponents might be siding in Fatal Push.
Looks very good. Well, hopefully his explosive start from the previous game happens again and has some carry through. He is on the play now.
Grasping Dunes, is that the
Again.
one that puts -1/-1 counters, or is it the one that gives you a 2/2?
I am pretty sure it gives you stuff.
Yeah, it puts a
it puts
-1/-1 counter on target creature. Bit of a good card against Winding Constrictor that does put 2 counters instead.
Yeah, it does double it. It's interesting though. I mean, I understand why he wants to do it. Not so sure I would have expected a lot of snake decks here today.
It's not particularly for Snake, it's just your opponent's creatures are generally, like when they're siding in creatures, against blue-black, they're siding in the 1/4 with lifelink, which is just out of reach of your burn spells.
Sure.
The Scarab God is just out of reach of a Chandra minus or a Glorybringer Exert.
It does make a lot of sense, and if you look at it like that, then okay. Thomas did not like his hand.
I believe Hamza is keeping. Bunch of mountains and 2-drops.
And a Chandra there at the end.
Because he's literally going to go Earthshaker Kendra, bad fatal push target, Earthshaker Kendra, bad fatal push target. Then I think it's a Lightning Strike, a Glorybringer, and a Chandra. So if he top takes 3 lands in a row, he's all good.
Is this the only time you want to top take 3 lands in a row?
I actually think post board the mono red deck does turn into a sort of controlling deck, or pseudo controlling deck to be exact.
No 1-drops. I wonder why. Shaker.
Attack for 2. Thomas isn't even tempted to fatal push this if he has one, I think, because Earthshaker Kendra actually gets blocked pretty easily. Now I'm wondering whether or not Hamza kills this Servant of the Conduit.
It's probably a good idea. He doesn't want to face another turn 3 Hydra.
Going to attack first, see if Thomas blocks. Thomas is definitely not blocking with that creature. In fact, Thomas is probably not blocking with most creatures in his deck. We're going to see Cardizev.
Oh.
That is a card you do actually want to Fatal Push, if you have one. Don't think Thomas has a Fatal Push in his hand though. And he's going to cost 2/2 this turn.
No.
Leave Glincy Siphoner and
No.
Walking Ballista for 2.
It's just some good things.
Yeah, maybe one of the reasons you may have wanted to kill the Siphoner.
Okay, he does. Okay, so his hand's still pretty stacked. He did not get more lands as far as I can see.
Combat. Attack for 5. Shoot the Earthshaker again now. So the thing is, I think Hamza is attacking with. Well, he's casting. He's deciding not to cast. So probably leaving up Lightning Strike for a Snake or a Blessing Hydra with the energy trigger on the stack.
Thomas going into the tank here, it seems. Nothing.
I'm just going to Lightning Strike the Ballista.
I'm okay with that.
Now, does Thomas pump? I don't believe he does. He's probably going to hold up Brasco's Contempt to exile whatever Hamza plays this turn. Top deck Land is pretty good for Hamza here.
And
He does top deck Scavenging Downs.
That is what it is.
Here the question is, which 4-drop do you run out? You see, running out Chandra means you can plus for mana and then cast Earthshaker again exactly this turn. And that is probably what's going to happen here. Plus for mana.
Definitely does.
Earthshaker Kendra. Target.
Block. And now Thomas has to ask himself
Attack for 5.
if he wants to take the Chandra out for next turn.
Yeah, Chandra is going to die or get exiled. And Thomas is going to stay on 12. If Hamza top takes another land though, that is going to be a Glory Bringer.
And then we'll go to game 3, I guess.
More than likely.
Let's see.
Ooh,
that is hurtful.
Cartouche.
Gain 3.
Hamza does have the Lightning Strike for this, so I'm just going down to 16 as well, because he took 3 that turn. He did not top take
A land.
a land.
Which is fine.
Rekindling Phoenix. That is a card that blocks really well.
Okay, well, Thomas is now on 12 currently.
Thomas seems to be flooding out here. He may actually just activate Ashapneur Oasis to pump his servant by 3 points of power.
We'll make sure it doesn't die.
This is effectively a free block for Hamza though. Rekindling Phoenix pretty good at blocking, surprisingly.
Oof. Okay, that is not what happens.
Pretty surprised Hamza did not block there, probably anticipating a fatal push to kill the token.
And that is a massive swing in life. Not something
Hamza
Hamza
now
wants
has
to deal with.
both a Braid and Lightning Strike, so he's going to Lightning Strike the servant first. I would also consider braiding with a Glensoup Siphoner just so his opponent cannot draw more cards. His opponent is on 18 points of life.
Well, you have to also remember he wants to hold it. Well, he doesn't
I think he's
hold it.
at the point where Blessing Hydra doesn't matter if he top takes the land.
7 down.
Like, Phoenix is such a good card that Blessing Hydra is actually just a strictly worse 4-drop. And only decks that don't actually play it will play it over Phoenix. And he's going to activate his... Okay, he's considering activating the desert to kill the... Okay, sure.
No.
Never mind.
Cannot block. Thomas says enough. go to game 3.
And Thomas seeing Grasping Dunes probably for the first time it constructed.
I don't think, there's no sideboarding necessary here. The decks are pretty much constant on the play and the draw.
Yep.
These specifically.
Not too sure if Thomas knows that Hamza sided at all his 1-drops.
Oh, Hamza is making some changes, it seems.
May decide to bring in Sweltering Sands or Magma Spray on the draw because he wants to kill his opponent's creatures for 1 mana. Sweltering Sands would be a good side in on the draw because you get to clear multiple creatures if they don't have pump effects. Magma Spray is a pretty good card on the draw because you get to trade with a 2-drop 9 times out of 10. That one time being that snake. I suppose that's probably not 9 out of 10. It's like
6 out of 10 in this matchup.
Probably like 12 out of 16 or something. Yeah, I mean, you even get to kill Dishko and you get to kill Jade Light Guardian before the Explore trigger happens. On the draw, it is a pretty good side in. I believe Thomas has qualified already for Standard.
I do believe that's correct. I think he
So-
qualified in the first
Yeah, in the first week.
first week.
Pretty sure a lot more is hanging on the line for Hamza, who has yet to qualify for Standard. And hasn't played that many to be in the top tiers of rankings at least. Ignoring that, we have the pre-release happening next week, if I remember correctly.
Yeah.
There will be one on Friday midnight, Saturday and Sunday morning. I believe
And there's one-
Saturday evening as well.
And there's another one Saturday evening as well. And it looks like they're about ready. Thomas should keep that hand. Hamza will definitely keep that hand.
Bunch of removal spells and lands. On the draw, it's probably decent enough.
Yeah, I think. Oh, what is this? Oh no, he's not. I thought he was.
He's just moving his deck to the other side.
I thought he was getting there for a second.
After his opponent played a land.
I was really concerned.
Lindsay Siphoner dies.
Dead. More of that.
Attack for 2.
Okay. I wouldn't say Hamza's in the driving seat.
Oh,
yet.
Thomas has sided in Thrashing Brontodon because it has a big body.
And that is true. Does nothing else.
I mean, it blocks
No, well, except for blocking every single thing except
Hazoret
Hazoret and Glorybringer.
and Phoenix.
And Phoenix.
Because they fly. Siphoner.
Should eat a shock.
Shock.
That's Lightning Strike. Do you trade here?
I don't think you do. The thing is, the card you're actually most scared of is Bristling Hydra. And with 2 Lightning Strikes, you can actually trade with Hydra.
Yeah, but it's a little 2 for 1 then. I guess
It's gonna be
also,
a 2 for 1 for this
but
guy
actually,
as well.
Actually, it's 2 for 2, really, because he's spending 3 energy to try and save it.
He may try and kill it this turn. It's gonna be a Ballista for 2. He's gonna Lightning Strike if he planted on, I'm going to assume.
Yeah, I think he should.
You can sack and kill your own Ballista if you want to. And Lightning Strike the Ballista
And the
as
other
well.
one, take 2.
So Hamza's actually running on empty at this point, but I believe so is Thomas. He only has Fatal Push and Land in hand. Hamza has more land though. And Thomas top takes land for the turn as well.
Well, this is unfortunate.
Good game of land go between aggro decks. Oh, the Striker Kendra, forget Fatal Push.
Eats a push.
And Thomas top takes another push.
Another one. That is just not right. And it's another Shaker Kendra.
Attack for 2.
This he allows. He doesn't want it to come back with being a 4-4, not have another way to deal with it.
And now Hamza has 2 different lands that give -1/-1 counters. And Chandra, this should be pretty good here for Hamza. Leaving up 3 red mana. His last card is an upgrade.
Plus
Plus
exile.
Scavenging Grounds deal you 2. I believe Hamza's concession to Scarab God is playing multiple Scavenging Grounds in the main board. End up 3-4-ing yourself to kill the card, but you have to sometimes. That might get upgraded here.
Definitely gets upgraded here. Thomas has land and push.
Plus for card. Players piano law.
Definitely play it. There's no reason not to.
Yep. Also, that Thopter is probably the biggest attacker on the board right now. As weird as that sounds. The Kindling Phoenix is the draw. Plus Chandra for card. Mountain deal you 2.
Thomas down to 8. What next? I don't think you play the Phoenix here. I think you just kind of go in. That's
Pump
another
Thopter for 1.
6.
6 total.
Leaving him on 2. Wow.
Pumps again before damage is done. So it's coming around to 1 effectively. Pump for the last point, fatal push. Okay, cool. So Thomas effectively gains 4 life there. So he's on 5. And that's game. Can't beat that. Just lands and a Chandra activation about to happen. Cool. Another good reason to keep the Phoenix there is Chandra's ulti requires it to cast spells.
Okay.
And towards the end of the match, we actually saw why Fatal Push isn't super good against Mono Red in the post-board games, because they side out a lot of the creatures that actually matter.
Everything that can target it is no longer there except for
Striker Kendra,
because it comes back.
Like Karizev, okay, yes, if you get the one of the 3 Karizevs, okay, fine. A lot of the time you can't actually get the 3 and 4 drops because Fatal Push requires a lot of effort to turn on in standard.
But yeah, look, there was actually like good matches.
For the most part, yes.
For the most part, this last one I think was very one-sided.
Well, it was one-sided in each game at least, for different opponents each time.
But yeah, that also then means that Hamza is now qualified for the final in November. He'll probably keep playing and see if he can get...
Aiming for the bye, which is basically... everyone's fighting over 1 slot. I think Shaq is basically locked up at this point.
Yeah, but anyway, till next time, I believe we'll be doing standard again.
Yeah, standard twice in a row because of the new standard.
Yeah, that will have Dominaria in.
It'll be pretty interesting, at the least.
We can only hope.
Yep.
Anyway, until next time, cheers.